person in northern Arizona has died from the plague. Northern Arizona healthcare system says that the person showed up to the Flagstaff Medical Center with symptoms and died later that day. They tested positive for Yersinia pestis, which is a bacteria that causes a plague.
And earlier in the week, the Coconino County Health Department reported a prairie dog die-off northeast of Flagstaff, which is an indicator of the disease. The plague is transmitted through infected fleas.
Well, given the history of the plague, this obviously causes people to be terrified. It can sound alarming, but the CDC says the disease is very treatable in modern times with antibiotics. Symptoms include swollen lymph nodes, skin turning black, abdominal pain, fever, and headache. It sounds miserable. Those symptoms, though, usually appear 2 to 8 days after infection.
And northern Arizona has had multiple plague cases in its history. In 2014 and 2015, fleas in Flagstaff tested positive for it. There was another confirmed case in 2007, and in 1996, there were 5 cases in the Four Corners region of Arizona and Colorado, and an 18-year-old from Flagstaff died during that outbreak.
New details on a deadly plane crash in Mesa last year. 5 people died when a plane overshot the runway and crashed through a fence into a car on Greenfield Road. The families of the victims have now filed a notice of claim, seeking more than $360 million from the city. The families argue that Mesa did not take proper steps to keep aircraft away from drivers. The NTSB has not released its final report, but the preliminary report shows that the aircraft at the time was working properly.
And 2 wildfires have now consumed over 60,000 acres in northern Arizona as firefighters try to stop the flames. And that's where we begin tonight. Nearly 1,000 firefighters are battling 2 fires near the Grand Canyon. The White Sage Fire and the Dragon Bravo Fire were both sparked by lightning, and they have been quickly growing in the dry and windy conditions near the North Rim. The White Sage Fire is the larger one, burning nearly 53,000 acres so far. It's forced evacuations for all of Jacob Lake and several areas around it, and closed a portion of 89A. But arguably, the more destructive fire is the Dragon Bravo Fire. It's burned over 9,000 acres along the north rim of the Grand Canyon. 70 buildings have been destroyed in that blaze, and crews say they're working to protect the remaining structures on the north rim of the Grand Canyon National Park. And one of those buildings that was destroyed was the historic North Rim Lodge. Fox 10's Taylor Wirtz spoke to a woman whose family watched the lodge burn. Taylor, what was her reaction?
Yeah, Ashley, she says that it was a somber affair for them all. She says, though, that for her family, it was just a loss of time and money. For others, it's the loss of their livelihood.
They see it.
Oh my goodness. Leah Sawyer's family got the news of the Dragon Bravo fire raging across the Grand Canyon's North Rim. They worried that their trip hiking to Phantom Ranch might be over before it started.
I was a little concerned.
Before she got on her flight out of Baltimore on July 12th, Sawyer says she called the Backcountry Information Office to see if the fire would be a concern.
The office said it wasn't going to be something to worry about, and they were having it under control.
But before they could leave the lodge and make their way into the canyon, someone with the National Park Service stopped them.
National Park Service here. She's like, I'm so sorry to tell you, but they have canceled all camping in the canyon, and they've closed every trail.
I won't be hiking the canyon.
While she was able to visit other parts of the canyon, Sawyer says her family was there the night the lodge burned down, shocked by what they saw.
It was almost a feeling of like helplessness, because you're sitting there watching the entire place burn to the ground from across a canyon.
While the North Rim is the less visited side of the canyon, Brian Special, host of the Grand Canyon Hiker Dude Show podcast, fears one of the best hikes is at risk with the fire reaching the North Kaibab Trail.
That's one of the 3 corridor trails along with Bright Angel and South Kaibab that is necessary for the hike that's called Rim to Rim, which is the iconic bucket list hike for so many people, is terrifying. And it's terrifying because what's going to stop this thing?
And here on the Watch Duty website, you can see this white squiggly line right there. That's the North Kaibab Trail that Special was referencing. And according to this right here, it appears that the fire has crossed onto the trail, as he said. So if you're planning to visit the Grand Canyon, it's important to check information from the Grand Canyon National Park's website before you go. This fire is a fluid situation, so all tourists are advised to check for updates frequently. In studio, Taylor Wirtz, Fox 10 News.
All right, Taylor, thank you for that report. Let's hope that area gets some rain this week. Governor Hobbs and other Arizona lawmakers have called for an investigation into the management of the Dragon Bravo fire. When lightning first sparked the fire, crews let it burn for days to reduce the brush that would fuel the wildfire along the North Rim. Then winds shifted unexpectedly and the flames spread, eventually consuming the historic Grand Canyon Lodge and 70 other structures. The National Park Service is pushing back on the criticism. A Park Service spokesperson tells Fox 10 the choice was a strategy to suppress and contain the Dragon Bravo fire, and the failure was because of historic wind gusts, not human error. They also say the actions of federal wildland firefighters and National Park Service employees saved hundreds of lives.
A tribal chairman is being accused of serious allegations and an investigation is underway. The Bureau of Indian Affairs now looking into the head of the White Mountain Apache tribe, Casey Velasquez.
Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum has been looking into this with what we know tonight.
Now, we just confirmed the news through the BIA today. At this point, the actual details of these very serious allegations are still unknown, but we have confirmed that there is a federal probe into Casey Velasquez, the White Mountain Apache tribe chairman. I'm told there was supposed to be a special tribal council meeting tomorrow to address this. Here's the statement by the Bureau of Indian Affairs saying that officials cannot comment on ongoing investigations, but confirmed to Fox 10 that one is active into this serious matter regarding the chairman and allegations of misconduct. Multiple sources within the tribe and connected to this developing situation tell me that this incident happened in June during workplace hours, and the alleged victim who came forward to investigators is an employee of the tribe. This is a community that is very tight-lipped, and we are working to learn more, but I'm told this incident was physical in nature. Now, Velasquez was elected in 2022, also served as vice chairman for 4 years, starting in 2014. A tribal chairperson has a lot of power and responsibility. Those duties include overseeing the administration and day-to-day operations of the tribe. Policy decisions and relations with federal and state governments also fall under those responsibilities. We reached out to Chairman Velasquez's office for comment on the investigation, and his legal counsel responded with this statement. It reads, quote, "At this time, out of respect for the investigation to which the chairman is cooperating fully, he will not be making any statement to the media. We look forward to a rapid conclusion to the investigation so that the chairman can continue to address important tribal matters along with his fellow council members." Now, as I said, a special meeting held by the tribal council was scheduled for tomorrow morning to see what has to be done next. I'm told by my sources that Velasquez actually canceled that meeting. We will continue to update you on this developing story. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin.
We begin with the Fox 10 News alert out of Chandler, where police are recommending that a father be prosecuted in the drowning death of his 3-year-old son. The toddler, identified as Trigg Kiser, died after being pulled from the family's backyard pool in May near their Chandler Heights and Gilbert Road home. Police are recommending a felony count of child abuse against the boy's father, Brady Kiser.
And detectives say the man told them that he was distracted for about 3 to 5 minutes with his baby while Trigg played outside. He then saw the toddler floating in the water. The boy's mother is the popular TikTok influencer, Emily Kiser. Police say that she had been out with friends at the time. The case is now being submitted to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for review.